Welcome to Vibrant Living Conversations. I'm your host, Gemma Pudding. As a life coach to midlife mamas and women, I'm excited to bring these conversations from North Idaho and across this region to support you on your journey to vibrant living, glowing from the inside out, fully living in your own true to you power.
For this interview, I get to talk with Marylou Moglia. I think I'll have to get the correct one in a minute. Face Yoga Unveiled. I took a one-on-one face yoga session from Marylou a few weeks ago, which was such a calming, insightful experience. And I'm thrilled to get to talk with her more today about this. So welcome, Marylou. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, well, thank you for the invite. I'm excited for this.
Yes. Okay. Tell me your last name. I just butchered it, even though we just practiced it.
Oh, it is Moglia. So
Moglia.
The way my husband explains it is what a bear would do to you. It would maul ya. I'm not the best explanation, but people are like, oh, no, I get it.
There we go. I love it. We just practiced it and I was like, oh, bleh. Okay. Anyway, in the organic of the conversation, right? So as we're talking about face yoga, Marylou, what is your elevator description of it? When people are like, face yoga, what?
Good question. I'm always adjusting that. You know, it's like we exercise our body, but for some reason, we don't really talk about from the neck on up. And the beautiful, you have like over 50 muscles in your face. So what face yoga does is it focuses on the facial and neck muscles by releasing tension. And as long as you release tension, you learn how to isolate, tone, tighten, lift, and strengthen those muscles. They're like the muscles of a bicep. They can be toned, strengthened, lifted, and sculpted. So that's what face yoga is, all natural and healthy.
So how did you get into it? And what's the history behind yoga, face yoga as well?
Okay. I got into it because I had several years ago, stepped away from teaching. I'm a former elementary library teacher.
Okay.
And so about 5 years ago, I stepped away and, you look in the mirror and you're like, oh my gosh, I am like looking old and like crusty.
Which you were
I felt
not.
like out there, even in the wellness magazines, it was telling me to look and feel beautiful. I needed a special cream or I needed some treatment. And I was like, but what about those of us that choose not to, but still want their skin to glow and are vibrant and active as they get older?
Yeah.
So I started doing research as a librarian. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And I ran across this one gal from Fumiko, and she's the founder of Face Yoga Method. And I was like, that looks fun, looks kind of funky. Let me try it. So I did. And I was astounded at the change. There was the physical change, but more than that, it was that mindset emotional change, because I finally started to go, wait, this is superficial. What about that inner part? And the teaching is based on, how do you talk to yourself? What do you say? Do you touch your face? Do you understand what's going on? And just being able to like feel good about the skin you're in. And that aging is a natural process. So how do we embrace that aging, but still look and feel vibrant without, that there had to be that ground. And that's what I found face yoga provided for me. And so I was like, let me be a teacher then, because I loved it. And of course, I wanted to share it with others.
So is there a training, like there is yoga teacher training? Is it like face yoga teacher training? Is that what you did?
There is. She provides a 6-month training.
Okay.
So weekly training with tutorials. You learn all the science, all the exercises. And then there's also the weekly where you get to ask questions, and she does the instruction and training. There's a test at the end. So there's homework we do in the middle throughout the entire process. But then there's also like, okay, let's see if you are actually get certified to be a teacher. So there is a full certification process that I went through to be able to teach and understand the whole process.
Yeah, beautiful and eye-opening. And didn't you tell me that there's nuggets in history of face yoga and facial exercises like dating back forever, Egyptian times?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I ran into this one gal and she had gone on this retreat and it was somewhere in the Andes with Buddhist monks. And she goes, they were doing face yoga. And I was like, the beautiful, it's interesting how we disconnect the face from the rest of the body. But the truth is, it's all one beautiful system that's meant to flow back and forth. And that's what the face yoga embraces, is to make that natural connection and get everything all flowing, not just stopping at one point, but yeah.
Isn't that funny how we do that in our society in general? We have doctors for your feet or your hands or one part of your spine or your ears. And it's like in the holistic realm, it's like your spine is one like flowing, long, beautiful root to crown entity with this energy flowing up and down.
Yeah.
Why do I just am curious even, and not that we need an answer to this, but how did that happen? Like your body is this, and you will go to the gym and treat this. And then all of these bazillions, you said 50 facial muscles that are up here, suddenly they don't need looking after in the same way. It's just funny how we've gotten to that separation of thinking that thing I'll take care of with this, that thing I'll take care of with that. And we've lost that holistic connection.
Yes, definitely. And that's why I love about face yoga is it brings it back to the forefront. And once you start recognizing and realizing it, you're like, oh, this makes so much logical and scientific sense. It just meshes beautifully.
Yeah, for sure. And even when I had my one-on-one session with you and you showed me the facial muscles, like you had your little diagram, which was so beautiful. It just was very eye-opening to me to connect with my body in a whole different way. Like we talk about connecting to your body through yoga, through the flow of it, but to see, I love that you have incorporated that into your teaching to show the muscles. So I can see that I have muscles going all the way across the top of my head and that they can be pulled and some can be stronger than others. Like, and it's like if your knee, when I used to be a runner, when I am a runner, but like when it was out of balance, like part of the muscle in my knee started to pull because it was stronger than the other muscle and my knees got messed up. And it's the same, right? With our face, when you're like, some of them have gotten stronger from habits, from squinting specifically for me. So they are squinting you into wrinkles or whatever. So your whole process is about connecting with each of those muscles, being aware of what your tendencies are, how you're carrying tension, and just being aware and connecting with it so you can do exercises appropriately as you would for if your knee was out of whack or your back was out of whack, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yep. You've explained it beautifully.
Well, and so you call it, I mean, obviously it's a holistic process. Will you talk about your process specifically and how important it is to you? And you're talking about the self-care, you've got the oils, which are beautiful. You use the CBD one from a local lady, the calmness, the slowness, the gua sha, like your holistic theory and love that you're putting into the practice as you teach it.
Yes. Sorry, what was your question?
I think really just focusing on how holistic it is from, and even the ahas that you touched on that you've done for yourself and realizing that it's not just about doing exercises, it's about like the self-love and self-talk, slowing down, being aware. So I'm answering it for you, but just reflecting back on just some of the lessons that you've learned and your passion in bringing it to other women and what you hope them to take from it.
Yes. I think the biggest piece I realize is as women, we have this beautiful gift of who we are. And we can create this lovely ripple effect. We know that when we feel good about ourselves, when we carry ourselves, you carry yourself differently. Your posture, your alignment, you greet people, you look them in the eye. It makes you personally feel better, but it also draws people towards you. And I truly believe that there's this lovely ripple effect. from simply as when you go to the grocery store, you smile at people around you, you make eye contact, you have a simple conversation that carries with it. And to me, that is so powerful and valuable. It's the smaller little things that then carry. Maybe that you were the first person that smiled and looked at them for that day. Maybe you're the first person that said a kind word to them. We just never know what that ripple effect will be. And then they feel better and they carry it. And then it again extends that beautiful ripple.
Yeah, beautiful, beautifully said. I think a piece of it that I remember still, well, I remember so much of it, but that really resonated with me was when you talked about our neck being the stem and our head being the flower. Will you explain that more? Because you do it so beautifully.
Oh, thank you. Well, think of your body as like this lovely own ecosystem. All right. So it's like fully functioning, and your face is a beautiful flower. So I always like to tell people, I'm like, think of your favorite flower. And that is your face in beautiful bloom. And then there's your neck, which is the stem. And so that brings nourishment, and things need to go back and forth. So we need it aligned. And then the rest of your body, it's like the roots, that's found the foundation, the grounding, gathering those nutrients and making sure everything is nourished. And so that, for me, I'm very visual. And sometimes it's like, I could say your face, but if I say a flower, people are like, oh, I know my favorite flower. Visualize it. You just want to smile because you love your favorite flower.
And it's such a beautiful way to connect with ourselves. Like you had said, we're so disconnected from ourselves. Like to be in your body, to see your body, your face specifically, not as this thing that is aging and gaining more wrinkles which is the tendency for women in our society to act like at some point it's something to fix rather than something to watch blossom and grow and love and embrace and nurture. So I think, and I feel it a lot when I'm driving. I can feel like my shoulders go back. I can feel the stem of my neck. I can feel like everything you taught me, the flower just really being like, okay, I'm like holding my posture up. I'm not slumped over because I can visualize, as you said, this flower that is blossoming and just allowing me to really breathe into the beauty of being in my body rather than a thing to be fixed and something that you're looking in the mirror and just wrinkling your face at. It just gives a different perspective and something to like prompt you to be that loving voice for yourself. Right? Oh,
exactly. I'm glad that you're carrying it with you when you're driving, as you're whatever little nuggets that are triggering it. Yay, that's what I want.
So how do you verbalize to tell people like that face yoga fits into their Western lifestyle? Do you encourage it as a regular class? What do you say when people are like, yeah, when do I do face yoga? We've kind of touched on this a little bit already, but just specifically with the Western style being, let me inject things into my face. How do you say this is how face yoga can become a part of your life?
For me, it's like I weave it in and out throughout my day. So it becomes a part of my lifestyle. I don't sit in front of the mirror and go, I'm going to do 10 minutes of face yoga. It's like we wash our face. When you're putting on your moisturizer, you can do your face yoga poses. In the evening, when you're cleansing your face, doing those poses. If you're having trouble going to sleep at night, what can you do? Oh my gosh, like I can notice, here's my shoulders. Oh, maybe I can turn my neck and do some other poses to kind of unkink some things when I'm driving. So I always teach, like in my Instagram videos, I'm like, oh, this is a great one to do when you are driving. Your hands are on the wheel. You can do a lot of things when you're driving, so these are things you can do because we are busy. Right. And I don't think anyone wants one more thing to add to their plate. But if you can enhance what you're already doing and just kind of weave it in and out throughout your day and go, oh, this is just a new habit that I'm going to start tucking in for myself, and it makes me feel good. That's kind of how I bring face yoga out there. Yes, I do teach classes because you do have to learn. You can do quick mini videos all you want, but you won't get that beautiful understanding so that you carry it so it becomes a habit that becomes ingrained in what you do, and actually learn the proper techniques.
Yeah.
So from classes to then moving into it becoming part of your lifestyle that's woven into your day.
I love that so much because I think nowadays we're just rushing, right? I'm reading the book right now, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. And it just is that phrase all by itself, the ruthless elimination of hurry. Like, we're hurrying so much. And then you get to think of something, oh, I should incorporate this into my life, or I should do that. And it adds such a negative connotation, right? It just is another something that you're trying to get done on your to-do list. Whereas, like you said, like I'm already washing my face on a daily basis. If I can do some exercises, if I know how to massage my face, if I've got my gua sha tool right there, and Marylou's taught me how to use it effectively. So I have like a little 5 minutes, 2 minutes to practice it. It's just sitting right there rather than becoming another should. It gets to be like this self-care spa-like thing that you get to do in your own bathroom in 2 minutes at the end of the day, but just resets you, refocuses you on, this is the life I'm designing, and this is the kind of things that I want to incorporate into it to make me feel more loving and goddess-like.
Yes.
So I'm curious, is there a specific face exercise that you are loving right now that we can share with everybody?
Oh, let's see. Whew. Yeah, there are. It's kind of like I go through different phases where I'm like, okay, we're really going to focus on this area now. And I really do focus on that area. Yeah. For me, it probably is my forehead area that I'm focusing on right now, the forehead and the brow area, because I hold a lot of the forehead and brow area are full of emotion and expression. Yeah. And so it's like, that just means like you're full of life and you enjoy it, but it also means you are very expressive. What happens is your brow tries to hijack what your eyes are supposed to do. We did this your one-on-one. We really focused on that brow eye area, because if we strengthen those eye muscles, then you can let that brow go, you really don't need to move those eyes because they have got it covered. So for me, it really is releasing that tension along the brow for now, which is, you take your knuckles and you put them right there in the center of your forehead.
With you.
And chest and heart are open. You breathe. As you breathe out, you glide and you come to those temples, and then you kind of just do a lovely lift up, which always feels lovely.
So good.
And then you go back to center, and you go a little further down and you press in, breathe in. As you breathe out, you glide. And again, those temples. And then we come to that brow area and press in, glide, and then temple lift and glide. And a lovely little rub. Just using your moisturizer facial oil. And that just already, you can feel that warmth and the release, because you can do all the exercises in the world, but if it's a tight, tense muscle, you're not going to receive any of the benefits. So we need to soften and open up that muscle so it can be receptive to peeing again without being tense and tight.
Oh, I love that. It's so good. And like you said, for the exercise that we were doing, I was staring in the mirror and focused on using my eye muscles instead, without moving my head, without using my brow muscles. And it's funny because I'm the same. I carry so much tension right in this third eye area, and the 11 wrinkles are like showing me that, right? And some of it honestly is like, put on sunglasses, Gemma, you're squinting because it's bright outside. But that default, it's like being aware of that and observing what your face is doing and where you are carrying the tension. Because it's part of my favorite is like when you're in a meditation, it's like, release the jaw tension, release the third eye tension, like observing where you're carrying it. Because you don't think of it in your face, you think of it in your shoulders or your back or your neck. But when you actually take the time to observe, oh, my face has got all kinds of tension it's carrying. It's so silly, but it just opens up this whole new relationship with yourself, right?
It does. And then it has that like a lovely trickle down effect, kind of like a waterfall, that once you start releasing, then little by little, the other muscles go, oh, I can do that also.
Yeah. So since I've had my face yoga session with you, other people have been like, what would I expect in a session? How I know to start with you, we had our pre-consult. So you really asked me, what was I hoping to achieve? Where do I carry tension? But from there, how do you respond because you programmed the session for me. So how do you, like, what's the general outline of what people can expect in a session?
Okay. So there are those beautiful one-on-one sessions that like you and I did, but there's also the group classes. And I structure them very similar. So there's always the one-on-one sessions are simply just more focused for that individual. For instance, I've got the forehead eye area 4-week series coming up in September. So a session, 4-week series like that is going to look like, okay, people come in, they get seated, and I always start with alignment and breath, because we can't just jump in. It's like, okay, let's be present. So there's always that calming part. And then there is the facial release. So there's always usually a loosening up exercise that usually is a whole upper body a lot of times, because everything's interconnected in our body. So as we open up that, then we can start releasing tension. And that's when, like the diagrams, it's like, this is what we're working on. This is why you're noticing this. Just that understanding and awareness of what's going on in your body.
Yeah.
And then from there, after we do some release, then it's like, okay, now let's start isolating and strengthening these muscles. And that's what we kind of break it down and start working on those areas to strengthen. I also, each session always has an intention. So whatever I'm teaching, it's like an intention that carries through our session, but also that you carry with you as you leave throughout the rest of the week until we meet again. And then after the exercises, we always kind of do with a little cool down, release. I call it cool down, but it's not like you get all sweaty. But it's like, let's get a release. Let's do some tapping. Let's just release the entire body and just come back from our special time together, and then carry this with you throughout your week. And that's kind of what a session is like. And that usually lasts 45 minutes to an hour. And it goes so quick, is what I've learned.
It really does. And I think I just want to emphasize for everyone listening that it is such a beautiful, like, yes, there's the yoga where you're flowing and moving, but this is such a beautiful, more calming, like meditative practice. And you take people through everything from that calming down, opening up, connecting to your heart, the setting the intention, like you just do it in such a beautiful way. And it's very just yin. It's a beautiful thing that I think everyone should join, follow you, go to the classes, because I loved it so much.
Oh, thank you. I'm just so glad. I mean, my joy and my heart is for women to come away just learning to understand and love their bodies more, and love the skin they're in, and just kind of go, yeah, like touch your face again. Remember, we stopped doing these things that are so loving and nurturing for us. And it's like, that's just priceless to me.
Yeah, so that touches on a question I just always like to dive into. How do you stay aligned and balanced in yourself in all senses? Obviously, you have this beautiful practice of yoga, face yoga, and teaching other women. Is there any other key practices in your life that you really like contribute to keeping you glowing from the inside out like you truly do?
Oh, my number one thing is first thing in the morning is my time with the Lord. So my time, just quiet time. I get up early,
Right.
take care of the dogs, and then it's like I just sit in silence with the Bible, and I just pray, and I'm ready to receive instead of and just being open. And so my morning prayer time is my grounding to carry me through the day. And when I skip it, it is not great. Let's put it that way.
I love that. It's your non-negotiable, it's your power, it's your source, obviously all of the things. Well said, beautifully said. So let's see, what else was I going to ask you? How do people find you? What's the best way to follow you, Marylou?
Let's see. My website, which is Face Yoga Unveiled. And my whole thing is you unveil your beauty from the inside out. You're already beautiful, but somewhere along the line we forget that.
Yeah.
Little girls, they think they are dynamic and amazing. And somewhere along the way, way, way too early, we lose that beauty of just celebrating who we are.
Yes.
And so part of it is that. So it's faceyogaunveiled.com. On Instagram, it's at Face Yoga Unveiled. And what's great, I'm so excited, starting September 14th, Thursday mornings, 6:30 a.m., I'm doing free 30-minute face yoga classes on Zoom.
Nice.
Sign up on my website. They are free. You have to sign up so you get the link. Right. And it's 6:30 till 7. So it's 30 minutes. Your face is washed. You're all ready before you get going for your day. And I'm doing mini sessions once a week for people to just experience it and start their day off wonderful.
I love that. Yeah. So find it on Marylou's website, and I will put all of that in the show notes as well. So you can find it down there. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about that I have not covered yet?
Let's see. One thing I was certified in this past year that I added was facial gua sha. Gua sha is like this big thing, but my teaching is based on the science of the body from Eastern practices. And it's about the flow and the movement and the acupressure points and the understanding. So it's not simply for beauty, but it's for health and wellness. And so what I'm starting to do with my face yoga is kind of weave that in with the face yoga classes. I've taught them separately, but I just see the benefit of kind of sandwiching them together and meshing them just because it benefits people.
Yeah.
That I found. So that's probably the newest, latest thing that people a lot of times don't think about, or, they see a cute little 20-year-old doing gua sha. And so I'm like, no, I'm trained and I could teach you. And
to realize that there is like a art to it. There are acupressure points. There are ways to stimulate your face. I can't talk today, goodness. And ways that you want to flow the energy. It's not just grabbing your gua sha and doing whatever. There is a way to do it that can connect and support that health. And I loved it when I've had mine for a while, and there was the directions on the back of the box when I bought it, but having you teach me on a whole different way. And even we went across my entire skull. It's when you go to the stylist, ladies, and they're giving you the mini head massage that you only ever get when you go to the stylist once every few months. You get to do it for yourself with the gua sha tool, and Marylou's going to teach you how to do it effectively and properly. And it's so epic.
What helped is during our session, when we had our pre-consult, you were like, oh, and I've got this tool. And I was like, oh, we'll just add that. And so that helped me to be able to customize just for you for what you needed for the class. So yeah.
So good. On that note, I mean, I know we're talking about the face yoga and that, but is there a face oil, or like as far as looking after your face and your skin on that level, do you have a favorite one that you like to use when there's so many lotions and potions and products out there in the world?
There is so much. The one I've been using for probably about 9 months now is Flawless Stim and Misty Lake creates it from Urban Oil CBD. The only thing is she has dissolved her business, which makes me so sad, but she is moving on to big, beautiful, lovely. And that is, I still have some that I'm selling, but it's like a lovely, like limited edition. So yeah, so I'm actually on the search for like, okay, what can I use with my clients that I stand behind that I know is natural and healthy and nourishes the skin?
Yeah.
Well as like not simply the glide and the movement, but like actually nourishes it in a healthy way. So I'm actually on the search.
CBD. I will say Bare Root Skin Essentials in downtown.
Oh yes.
Too. So just.
Oh, I do love Sandra. Yes.
I know, me too. I love all of her stuff. It's dangerous to go in there. Awesome. Well, I always like to end with my favorite question of, by definition of vibrant, glowing from the inside out, are there a few businesses or practitioners or friends in this area that have inspired you on your journey?
I have to say, I have gotten connected with this lovely wellness community of women that just are so passionate about what they do. And what I love is they're all different ages and backgrounds and different ethnicity, just all different. And all these ladies inspire me so much because they're doing what calls their heart. And they are so sincere and generous and open and growing. I think that is the thing about them, is they're always learning and growing and trying new things and learning from each other. And I just love this beautiful collaboration that, and it just keeps growing, like you're part of that, Gemma. I don't know if you realize it, but you are of like this beautiful gathering of women that support each other and, have a heart for making a difference.
Yeah, no, it is so fun. And to be able to connect on so many levels and as we're all on our own, like, divine purpose, right? But to have the community just in powerful women that are struggling too. And it's like the roller coaster you and I have talked about several times. It's like, yes, but it's still the roller coaster, and having that community locally and the passion and the fire that keeps us all going as we're on that journey together.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So good. Yay. Well, this was so fun. Thank you again for joining me. It's just been a pleasure.
Oh, well, thank you for asking me. I truly am honored. Yes, it was so fun. I always love visiting with you.
You as well.
If you like this podcast, I want to invite you to coach with me. Let's ditch the autopilot living to slow down, tune in, reset, and redesign your life to glow from the inside out based on the beautiful being who you are, what matters to you, and how you want to dance through this life. I help you understand your self-sabotaging ways, program thinking, and tendencies to outsource your power, and reshape them to align with the true you for this chapter of your life. To join me in a complimentary coaching session, go to my website, www.gemmaputty.com. Sending all the love, light, and vibrancy. Until next time.